Hey guys, Coach Sam here, coming at you live. It's March 14th, 2024, and today we're smashing shoulders like boulders. All right, so for today's warm up, we have our shoulder prehab number two, which is going to be 3 rounds of reach, roll, and lifts, 5 per arm, a single arm DB high pull with about a 2 second negative, and then a 30-second bar hang. That bar hang is a really good way to open up your thoracic, your scapula. When you're hanging there, feel free to twist around and kind of open up some range of motion there to help you out a little bit to feel nice and loose. So for our first movement of the day, we're going to be doing some concentration work. This is going to be our bamboo bar overhead press with an iso hold in the last rep. So for setup for this, so ideally, the brand Band Bell makes a bamboo bar and an earthquake bar. Both have different loading options there. That's kind of a light bar by itself, but allows you to add bands and weights to hang off to the sides to challenge your stability as the bar oscillates throughout the concentric and eccentric portions. But many of us, including myself, don't have access to one of those. So you have multiple other ways that you can load this. So you can take a regular barbell, you can take a band on each side and load some chip plates or kettlebells, and then put them on each side of your barbell. Then you can perform the same movement that way. Or if you want to use a PVC pipe, you'll need a thick PVC, probably like a 3-inch circumference. You can pick one of those up at Home Depot there. And you can also perform the same loading scheme where you're taking a band on each side with some chip plates or kettlebells for the loading mechanism. So we're going to be working over 4 sets, from a set of 15 down to a set of 8. And if you look at the isometric holds, it goes from 30 seconds on set 1 to 20 seconds for set 2 and 3, and then a 10-second hold in the last set. So when you're doing these isometric holds, try to make sure you're bracing your core and you're not hyperextending your spine. So what we don't want to have is you hyperextending your spine and having a lot of pressure on your lower back, and you're feeling sore in the lower back after shoulder day. So feel free to modify the range of motion. If locking out at the top, it doesn't allow you to maintain that good posture. You can keep a slight bent elbow, but that's also going to be a lot more demanding, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. All right, so moving on to our next movement piece is going to be dumbbell or seated dumbbell overhead press. So we're going to be working up over 5 sets here with some different methods. You got a blood flow set for set 1 at 20 reps. Then you're going to be going into set 2, the 15 rep set with a 2-second negative, followed by a double contraction set for set 3, which is a half rep from the bottom into a full rep 10 times through. And then another double contraction set for set 4, which is, again, a half rep from the bottom into a full rep 10 times through. And then we're going to be finishing off with a drop set. So for set 5, you're going to need 3 different sets of dumbbells where you're going to be performing 10 heavy reps and 10 reps about 30% lighter to failure, and into a one more drop set with a 30% lighter to failure. All right, guys. And then for our next concentration work piece, we've got 3 sets of 15 heavy barbell shrugs into 20 standing dumbbell side lateral raises. So for these shrugs, you can use a traditional straight bar. I highly recommend you use straps so your grip is not the limiting factor. My personal favorite are Versa grips. You can also use traditional weightlifting straps. You can also perform this on a trap or a hex bar. If loading the barbell in front of you doesn't feel great on your spine, you can also utilize a trap bar for this. And then also at this, if you don't have access to either of those, you can also do these with a set of dumbbells. So if you're doing this with some dumbbells, really focus on a nice good squeeze at the top, and then come down a little slower, which will be a little bit rough, harder to do when you're going heavier on the barbell and the hex bar there. And then for your standing dumbbell side lateral raises. So for these, we're going to pick a pair of relatively light dumbbells because 20 reps is kind of getting up in the rep range. And then when you come up, guys, you don't really have a need to have your wrist go above your elbow. So if you're coming up that high, you might feel a little bit of impingement in the shoulder. So you really only need to go to about where your elbow and your shoulder are kind of in parallel with each other there. And then also you can kind of play around with where your arm is in relation to your body. Some people feel really good if they put their arms directly out to the side. And then some people have it about a 45-degree angle, or 45 to 90-degree angle there. So just kind of play around with that to see what works for you. All right, and then for our metabolic stress work to finish off, we have plate front raise bus drivers. So for this, you're going to take a weight plate. You're going to do a front raise. You're going to turn right, then turn left, and then come back down. And that's 1 rep. So this is a really good, movement to kind of finish you out for the day and to work, all finish up with all different heads of the shoulder there. So after that, we have some conditioning work options for optional CrossFit work, our grunt work, and then our energy system development. And then you've got some options for your optional core work and then our recovery options. So guys, please post your training videos in our Thunderbird family page. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to throw them in there. If you guys are on Train Heroic, please feel free to hit me up with any questions you have. And if you're on Beyond the Whiteboard, hit up Coach Kenny. All right, guys, have a great shoulder day.